Value retention is such a loaded term when it comes to watch collecting. When you mention a watch or a brand's value retention, you are bound to get a very interesting sampling of responses. Now, recently I made an episode talking about what value retention means for various watchmakers and why Rolex seems to be king. But I got a bunch of people in the comment section of that episode telling me, well, but the whole watch market is down. The watch market is trending downwards. The watch market is tanking. Why even care about Rolex's value retention? Well, there's something kind of interesting going on. And when we look at the data, and data is such a buzzword, but when we look at the watch charts data, we can see very clearly what is going on. So let's go jump into that. It is 12:17 p.m. Let's get down to business. As always, this episode's brought to you by the Time Teller Shop. We did a massive price cut across the board, and you can use this coupon code T3Live to save yourself some money. All right, so about a month ago when I made this episode about the surprising factors driving value retention, it admittedly didn't get a ton of views, and I think a large portion of my viewership specifically doesn't really collect watches for the sake of investing or for the sake of having, incredibly high value retention within their collection. And I agree with that. I have always said you really shouldn't be investing in wristwatches. At least that's not where I personally find enjoyment from the hobby. I don't think that, how much a watch is worth really adds to the appeal of a specific watch. I just like wearing and owning the watches that I find interesting and cool. But that's just me. Now, when this episode came out, again, about a month ago, I'll link this in the description below. You can go ahead and watch it. It has some good information in it, if I do say so myself. I got a lot of people in my inbox confused as to why I would even be talking about value retention because the watch market as a whole is tanking so badly. Well, I wanted to delve in a little deeper here because when we use watch charts index, so watch charts, for those of you who don't know, is an incredible resource, watchcharts.com, and they have a really, really good Instagram at watchcharts, which you should follow because they take really nice, concise kind of snapshots from various watch models and watch brands, and it kind of gives you just a really nice cross section of the market as a whole, and it's just very easy to digest. It's not super big brain boring. It's fun and cool. I sound like a schoolyard hooligan. Hey kids, you want to smoke drugs? It's fun and cool. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look. The watch market is down 7.2% from a 6-month spread. Okay, so people in my comment section telling me the watch market's down. Why are you talking about this? You're right, the watch market is down. But when we go from a brand to brand basis, and again, this is something that Watch Charts does really well. When we click top brands Rolex, we can see that the Rolex market index has fallen 4.4% in the past 180 days, but Rolex value retention for in-production Rolex watches trade for 20.9% above retail on the secondary market. That's a huge piece of information, and that will tell us a lot about what is going on in the watch world. Now, you can take it a step further, and actually, if we want to see the model breakdown, that might be interesting as well. Oh my gosh, what is going on? These ugly, ugly polka dot Rolex OPs are up 167, 136, 129%. Of course, this is the Tiffany dial one, but man, what are these doing? See, it's very eye-opening here. Yeah, what I find interesting here, though, is, okay, so the watch market over a 6-month spread is down, what was it, 7.7? But for in-production Rolexes, it's up 20.9%. Okay, not all brands are created equal, though, because when we go to something even as comparable as, say, Omega, right? Because when we're looking at, I don't know, as watch brands as a whole, people pit those two together, myself included. Omega has dropped less in the last 180 days, 3.1% versus the, I think, 4.4 from Rolex, but the value retention is 28.9% below retail on the secondary market for in production Omegas. We look at Cartier, which is one of my favorite watchmakers, period. Only 1.1% has fallen the last 180 days, but 21.5 down. I think this comes down to brand equity and people knowing who and what Rolex is. As I mentioned in that last episode, people that don't even care about watches know the watch brand Rolex. And you could make the argument that brands like AP, okay, you could say AP is Holy Trinity. They make better watches than Rolex. But when we look at the numbers, we can see they are in the positives for their value retention, but it's what, half of what Rolex is? So Rolex, you could argue, because look, AP is actually in the last 180 days has fallen 8.5%, which is twice as much as Rolex and is half as good as Rolex when it comes to their value retention on the secondary market. So I'm not saying AP is trash compared to Rolex. I'm just looking at the data and saying, wow, this is interesting. So the brand name and the brand equity really does matter, especially when we're taking a look at investing in these things. Because, dude, I know a ton of people that know me as a watch guy, and they're like, oh yeah, I know Rolex. Oh, I've heard of Casio. I have a G-Shock at home. I don't really wear it much. And then you mentioned brands like within the Holy Trinity, Patek, Vacheron, AP, and they don't really know what you're talking about. But, in pop culture, in certain rap songs or whatever, they're like, oh, I think I've heard of a iced out Patek or something. But yeah, that people don't know what these other brands are, but everyone knows about Rolex. So what are we to do with this information? Well, my answer is that I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do with it. Here's what I'll tell you. I'm a watch nerd and a hobbyist. So when I take a look at this information, it's kind of like how people that are really into sports take a look at athletes and teams' stats, right? So I'm not going to bet on any of these. I'm not going to invest in any of these brands or watches, but it is still interesting to learn about and consume this information. Now, I do get a lot of inbox messages and DMs from people asking me about tips and everything when it comes to investing. And the truth is, I still will tell you up front, I don't really recommend anyone invests in watches. I think that the enjoyment that comes from watch collecting is just the kind of thrill of the hunt and the learning about and the reading and, again, the exploration when it comes to finding various tidbits of information about obscure watches. That's what I love about the hobby. But if you are interested in investing, then I guess this information today is much more relevant to you. But let me know what you think. What does this mean? How are we to understand this information? And where do you think the watch market is going in 2024? I'll leave that up to the comment section. You can let me know. I learned from you just as much as you learned from me, and I will catch you there. All right, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.